Hey, welcome back to Community Group Week 2 for Storyteller. Welcome to Community Group.
Help. Please send help.
I mean, I think the right size is
stuck here.
4 to 6 or 8 people, and
It's
it's
a
just
couple less than what we are.
you
right
and
now.
me again.
I'm just kidding. This is I actually really enjoyed this. This is good.
Look, the reason we're doing this is we really do miss Community Group with you. And yet, we just can't do that right now. So the goal of this is we're going to have Community Group go through some questions, but the idea is that you would be encouraged to answer these questions yourself. So whether you pause the video and you take time in the middle of it right now to answer those questions, or whether you call some friends and say, hey, let's watch Austin and Connor in Community Group and have Community Group together and answer the questions, do that. So this week, Austin, you taught on Luke 14, 16 through 21. Yep. At Jesus' party, there's always room for more. And really, I think as we're preparing for Community Group, we had this idea that, we're all aware. We know that you know that it's weird and awkward inviting someone, especially to youth group. And yet, oftentimes, we lack the self-awareness to understand how we can affect that person's experience at youth group or whatever we invite them to. And so part of this is going to be kind of wrestling with that weirdness, that weird tension. Yeah. So, Austin, what are some places or events that you would invite a friend to and why?
I think my go-to is like movie theaters. Going to see a movie, for some reason, some people say theater weird, but that's beside near here.
The theater?
The theater. Movie theaters. If you've got a burger joint that you're just like is prime, some of you that might be Waffle House, just saying. Or if you want to get a couple people together to play basketball, I love when you can just get a couple people together. There's like no agenda, and you can just like hang out. It's just fun for me.
Yep. I would say movies as well. I love everybody going to the movie theater together and then watching a movie and then going out afterwards and talking about it. But even better than movies are concerts. Because concerts are like movies, but they're loud and they're raucous and we're like yelling to each other as it's going on and having a dance party and just, it's awesome.
Makes lots of sense.
It's so much fun.
So when are you going to concert?
No. When are we going to the movies too? I don't know. It's so ready for that to come back. But yeah, so here's this then. We love doing those things. When's the time though when you've been excluded from going to something, and how did that make you feel?
Well, I'm not excluded from anything because I'm just kidding.
You're always telling people no.
I'm always telling people
too many things.
So this one was actually an accident, but the feelings were still real. A buddy of mine got married, and he ended up sending my invitation to the wrong address. And so then I popped onto Instagram and Facebook and saw, oh look, they're all my friends, and they're all sitting at a wedding, and that's so nice. I wish I would have been invited. And what ended up happening is a couple months later, we saw each other, and he goes, hey man, I really missed you at our wedding. Why couldn't you make it? And I'm like, because you didn't send me an invitation. He's like, oh no, I sent to the wrong address. And so we worked it out. But I can tell you, those feelings of not being included or being left out were so real.
Yeah. I can't think of a specific instance where I felt left out specifically. I know it's happened.
That's because you invite yourself to things.
Yeah, probably that's happened before too. Yeah, I know it's a reality for me and for a lot of you, especially being on social media during quarantine, is seeing people posting, all the things that they're into and where they're going, and like many of you at the beach. I would much rather be at the beach. No offense.
Don't worry, I would too.
Yeah, but I see where you're at and the fun that you're having, and it's hilarious at first. I'm a little bit of jealousy. I got a little bit of envy there, and then it can very easily turn into some real jealousy and some real envy and real bitterness as to I wish I was where you were and I don't want to be where I am. And it just can be a real problem especially with social media and our time in quarantine right now. So in regards to the passage, you had a great lesson from Luke 14, 16 through 21. If you missed that, pause this video, and go catch up and hear that lesson. And then come back over here. Yep. Because in regards to that passage, how does it show us what God's kingdom is like when it comes to inviting and including others?
I think the people that the ones who actually showed up to the party were just all so really different, but they always had that one thing in common, and it was mentioned over and over and over again, and it was the desire to be there. It was the want to be there. While the other people were sitting there going, no, I got other stuff to do that's more important, these people were just like, yes, let's go. I want to be there.
Yeah.
And so I feel like that's what the kingdom of heaven is going to be like. It's just a lot of different people, but we're all going to have that same desire and that same feeling of wanting to be there.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. I mean, he didn't send out just the neighbors of the people that he invited earlier. I mean, he really went to the streets and the alleys,
yes,
and people who were completely unexpected of even getting an invitation. And I think it's true too. I mean, God's kingdom is available for anyone who is willing to accept His invitation that He is offering. And when we think about our youth group the same way, I mean, like we're just extending an invitation.
Yeah.
Which is beautiful, because that kind of, all we have to do is be the invitees, extend an invitation.
Sure.
I'm trying to put a noun on that. It's not working.
It's not a good noun.
So, what can make inviting or including others difficult, awkward, or intimidating?
Just the fear that they would say no. Like, just that by itself, I feel like is intimidating enough. Like you build as someone who's probably not as much of a people person as other people in the room. Just building up all this, like, okay, I know what I'm gonna say. This is what we're doing. I'm planning it all out. It's gonna be great. And you walk up to them and they're just like, yeah, no.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, okay. But then, like, the other side, there's more to that too. It's just like the unknown of how to answer questions that they might have.
Yeah.
For the most part, y'all don't know what we do on a Sunday night regularly, so guess what? You walk up to someone and be like, hey, I want to invite you to Sunday night. Great, what are y'all doing? I don't know when I go there. Eating food, that's it. Connor Ross is probably going to talk too much. But just that unknowing of, like, how is this person going to respond? Are they going to say no? Are they going to say yes? Are they going to say yes in a weird way? Are they going to ask me questions that I don't know? Just that kind of area of where we're just kind of lost in the woods of what's going to happen.
And I think, I mean, the other side of that, if you are a people person and you do invite someone, part of that intimidating factor of that is, okay, I'm friends with this person, but how are my friends there going to treat that person? Because I'm really great at hanging out with my group of friends here, but this person, if they're not coming, they're probably not part of my group of friends there. And so how are my friends going to treat that person? What are they going to think about that person? What are they going to think about me inviting that person? And then how am I going to act with them being there with my group of friends? And, you know, anytime you add somebody new into it, social dynamics change. And so that's kind of a unfair thing that we put upon ourselves, but a real fear that we have inviting someone new to the group.
Yeah.
Well, okay, that's right prime for this question. What could make it difficult for someone you know to feel like they belong? I mean, is belonging intimidating, and are there expectations?
I feel like there's probably a better way to answer this, but yes, there are expectations. It's not like I can tell you don't have expectations because it doesn't really matter, but you're going to have expectations. Most of the time, they're unspoken expectations, which then in turn makes it intimidating when you don't meet those expectations. But it's just that weirdness of, you know, if you're invited to a new place and the person that you invite is talking with one of their friends, they're saying, hey, this thing that happened at the school that, you know, you don't go to, you're kind of sitting there going, yeah, that's great. Haha, I get it. That teacher at that place that I don't know. Huh? Yep, really. Yeah. Super. It's that awkwardness of kind of like the inside joke, but more like the inside conversations that you're just not a part of can really make it awkward.
Yeah. And I think belonging's difficult in and of itself. And then really there's an unfair expectation of, well, I mean, we have youth group every week and we have community group every week, and I invite that person to what we do every week, and they actually come, and I'm like, wow, they're here, this is great, but then they don't want to come back. And so does that mean there's something wrong with me or the weekly thing that I go to? Because I still want to go back, and why is it not? Maybe I think too far about it into the future, but I mean, yeah. The belonging thing is a real fear, and then if they don't feel like they belong, it's kind of an indictment against, you know, me or my friends or what's going on. And so it's really difficult. I think that's why this last question really is one that only you can answer. It's something that we think about a lot. but we will be reopening soon.
At some point.
In July, we will be doing things with our youth group in smaller groups. And so knowing that's happening, knowing that's coming up, who is someone that you can invite to that thing? It won't be a recurring thing. That one thing that you can invite them to, so if they say no to, or if they do come and they don't come back, well, there's nothing to come back to. It's just this one solitary thing. It's an easy invitation. But who's that one person you can invite? And what would you want their experience to be like? And then what's one thing you can do to make sure that they feel welcome? Because again, there's that intangibleness about feeling like they belong. In my mind, when we do these things, we want people to really feel like they're involved. It's not like there's the metaphor, the image of, we don't want to invite them to a football game where we're all involved in the game on the field and our friends are stuck in the bleachers.
Yep.
We want to invite them, and the experience we want them to have is one that they feel invited to a party, that they're involved in and they're engaged with and they feel welcomed at. And that's really the experience that we want to make and we really want to have this month here in July.
Yeah, and what Connor says is we've got stuff that's happening, and if you've made that list of people, there is an actual next step that you can take to really capitalize on the opportunities that we have. And probably the biggest one is you have friends who come to your youth group who you can kind of set the stage for the person that you're inviting. I mean, you can tell them their shoe size, color hair. Okay, maybe not those things, but you could tell them that, hey, I've got a friend coming, and let's just make sure that we are going out of our way to make sure that the moment that friend, that visitor, walks through the door, that they feel a sense of belonging, that they feel that people care about them in a real, intangible way. And by doing that, when they walk out of here, whether they come back or not, they had that experience of belonging because you took the time to actually set it up. And not just your friends. You've got awesome leaders here. I mean, Connor and I love to know about new people who are coming, so you can let us know too. But it means so much more when it's coming from you and your group of friends who are making that person feel the sense of belonging. That's right.
So we're going to put all of the questions here on the screen after this is finished. So take some time for yourself to walk through them and think about them. It's a holiday weekend. Happy 4th of July. But it's really kind of why this is what we've got going on right now. And as soon as we come through this holiday weekend, we will have those dates that we'll send out via email, social media, all that stuff. So whether it's small group 1 week from now, see you back again, or one of those events, we will see you real soon.